Welcome back. We have another episode of Real Stories. Today we've got Jessica Terpstra. I can never say the name right. It's okay. Hey, Jess, how are you?
I'm great. Well done. So proud.
So, as per usual, we just get into your story. So tell us a little about yourself.
Yeah. So I'm Jessica Terpstra. We lean into the ERP because I know it's a hard name for some people. I get it. I feel bad. I don't know how to always answer this question. First off, if I ever say anything that is like the wrong word, just call me out. Most likely my dyslexia kicked in and I will most likely laugh at just what I said. So I am a Toronto girl. I grew up in Richmond Hill. I was there up until I was 18, so after high school, and then I got accepted into the University of Windsor to become a teacher.
Okay.
I was actually really impressed by it. I got into a course, the 3 degrees, so the B.Ed, BA, and concurrent program. So like 32 people got accepted into that.
Awesome.
I know. I was really impressed and proud of myself. And then within the first week, I got scared and I ditched it for visual arts. I know, right? There's stories.
Okay.
And then life happened. I got kicked out of university. I met Tyler. I got back into university, learned a lot about my brain, which was wonderful. And then I went back to school. I graduated. And then we had kids and a family, and now I'm a homeschool teacher to our 3 boys.
Okay.
It's a lot of life happening.
It's a lot. Hey, everyone, that's one of the cool things. Everyone's got a story and there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
So when you talked about so you grew up in Toronto.
I did.
Which part?
So the GTA, Greater Toronto area, Richmond Hill in particular.
Okay.
Yeah. Everyone on this side just says Toronto because no one actually knows where
Richmond Hill is.
No. Yeah.
It's to the north.
It's somewhere. Geography is not my thing. Go to Toronto.
Past Brampton,
you'll find it.
Yeah. Brampton, stand the 401. When you get towards Steeles,
just
exit,
get off Yonge Street. Then you're good.
So you went to high school there?
I did, yeah. So I went to an Christian elementary school, which was terrible, won't lie.
Okay.
There's a lot of life lessons in that alone. And then I went to Langstaff Secondary School, which was a French immersion school, but I went there for purely proximity reasons.
Okay.
Could not speak any French, but all my friends obviously spoke tremendous amounts of French. That's what they were there for.
Right.
And so it's just like the comic relief of everyone would always say like, comment ça va? And I'd be like, Jessica. We do this every day. Je m'appelle Jessica. I learned after a couple of years, but it took way too long to realize they were asking, how are you? Versus, what is your name?
What is your name? Je m'appelle. What is your name?
Comment ça va?
Comment ça va? How are you? Yes.
Yeah. Oh,
I know a little bit of French.
It was terrible. It's just leaning to the comic relief. It was.
Just lean in.
That's
so you said you got accepted into that program at the university, 32 people, but what scared you off?
Oh my goodness. So my whole life up until 18, I wanted to be a teacher. I've always loved children. When you just know something about yourself of like, I'm great at that. I want to do that. That was me in teaching. Always had a heart for it. Even in grade 12, I got accepted into this amazing co-op program where I got to teach grade 1 for a full semester for 3 days a week. And then the other 2, I got to learn about child psychology.
Okay.
So I loved it. It was amazing. So it just kind of solidified the fact that I wanted to do this. But I was also good at art, just like anyone. But as soon as I got there, it was like I had my first real panic attack because in that first week, they explained like, this is going to be what your next 5 years of your life looks like. And I knew there was something wrong with my brain. I knew there was always something wrong with me in the sense of I would speak and it'd be wrong, or reading was frustrating, writing was frustrating, but I could always fake it in high school. I knew I couldn't do that at university. So I knew I was good at visual art. So this was all Jesus in the sense of, I don't know how and when this happened, but I got out of the classroom, somehow found a guidance counselor, convinced them I was in the wrong program, good at visual arts. So I got in with no portfolio or anything like that. They're like, yeah, okay, switch. And then I left and I was in the other program.
And just
explain that one to your father.
Yeah, that would be an interesting
It
conversation.
was not a great conversation, but at the same time, I had peace
Yeah.
and I knew God, so I was okay with it. Um, and then I remember the next year I got baptized at Windsor Christian Fellowship.
Okay.
And the reason I did it there is because I didn't, the church that I belonged to didn't believe in adult water baptisms. And I really wanted that experience. And they do that every single week at Windsor Christian Fellowship.
Right.
So at the beginning of the service, they asked, does anyone want to be baptized? And I'm like, yep, I'm here for that reason. So they called me back. And I still to this day don't remember the person that dunked me. But when they raised me up, he said, the world will know God through your paintings. I'm like, sweet. I just switched to visual arts. Such a great moment there. It works. Enter life of what does that mean? And then the self-pressure. Just, it was.
Once you took that as a good thing and then your brain took that and made it something else.
Absolutely. In the sense of, well, that is a tremendous amount of pressure. How on earth do I do that?
Right.
It wasn't probably until like 10 years later that I realized that wasn't pressure that I should be putting on myself at all.
Right.
It's all in God's hands.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started doing a YouTube channel where God and I have always had an amazingly close relationship in the sense of we talk to each other. He's very audible. We have a fun relationship. Tyler can attest to that. And so with worship in particular, I will see something that he gives me. And he laid it on my heart one evening of like, this is what I mean.
Right.
So I paint giant canvases. I love it. They are my thing. But what's fun kind of, is the painting that God wanted was the opposite of what I like. So for me, when I was in university, I could paint 9 by 12 foot canvases of wheat fields. Hours on one canvas, submerged in. Love it. Love my detail. I was known as the wheat girl. I still absolutely, my favorite place in the world is wheat fields. The paintings God wanted, very, very different. They are chaotic and quick and done in like 15, 20 minutes. And that's not me. That is literally going against everything I want. There's been many times where I did a painting and because I'm a perfectionist, I wanted to go fix it and I ruined it and he made me go do it again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the fun thing about the painting part is I'm videotaping myself do it. So you see it in real time. And then I edit it with the song that he's chosen for me for this canvas. And then I would upload it to YouTube. And then whoever God wanted to see it would see it.
That's
that
awesome.
was it.
When you talk about the wheat, what drives you to paint wheat? Just it's a very interesting choice.
I know, right?
I like wheat.
So say it bluntly, I had a really messed up childhood.
Okay.
And 2 weeks of the summers from like grade 8 to grade 12, I would go to a distant cousin who lived in the country.
Okay.
And I could just be me. And I don't know, the presence of God's peace to me is in a wheat field because you see it blowing in the wind or you're just in it. I don't know. That calmness. To me is, the peace, the calmness in there. And I get that no one else understands it. Fully fine with that. Everyone's got their thing. But for me,
no, that's amazing. I was curious. It's so there's a piece about just watching it. There's a place where you felt calm and safe.
But I also get so excited. Literally, my family knows this about myself. If we find a wheat field, I will say, pull over. I need to get a photo. I need to have a photo of me.
So forever traveling in a group and there's a wheat field where we're stopping
Prepare
for pictures.
yourself. It's going to happen. I do apologize, but it's going to happen.
No, that's perfectly okay. So you said, of course, you lived in Toronto and then you moved down to Windsor. So again, now this is a little bit different, which is where you're moving from a big city to a smaller city.
I was okay with it. I'm a country girl at heart.
What when you think about Windsor in relationship, like what was your favorite part? So leaving Toronto and coming to Windsor.
The traffic.
You can get anywhere in 15 minutes.
When we moved to Richmond Hill, I was little. I mean, we moved from Markham to Richmond Hill, which is not a big difference. But we lived right off of Yonge Street.
Okay.
And this is still where there's like fields across Yonge Street.
Oh.
When I left at 18, it would take 20 minutes to go from my house to the mall, which would take maybe 5 minutes max before.
Right.
Now it's like 40, which is, I don't sit well in traffic.
No,
Not when,
you're not a patient person.
not when it comes to something unnecessary like that.
Toronto does feel like it has a lot of unnecessary traffic, and yet they have massive
Absolutely.
amount of transportation, like, with the subways and everything else going on up
Well,
there.
that's more downtown Toronto.
True.
They don't, I mean, the Via bus now? I'm trying to remember. I think
Go.
it is. No,
Oh, they have a Via bus?
no, I think it was Via.
Okay.
When I left, they were trying to like change into having a much better bus system. That might have happened right after I left,
Gotcha.
but it's still
Still an interesting place.
bananas.
So you're at the university,
Yeah.
you're going at the time, I guess, then you're at UCC. Like, how did you end up at UCC?
So me and Jesus are close, and I knew I needed a church right off the bat. And this was this sweet little church right beside Harvey's, right beside the university. And I, for some reason, go downstairs. So you enter into it, and there's an upstairs and downstairs.
Mhm.
For some reason, I go downstairs. And the most wonderful Black church is happening downstairs. I have never been so welcomed in my entire life, but they were so sweet and yet so blunt because they gave the most wonderful sermon. But then they also called me out like, we have someone here and I'm so happy because she's white. And I'm like, okay, calling it out. That's fine. I love it. But I'm like, this might not be my church. But what I loved about it is like, I could not leave without like a handful of food.
Mm.
And I'm just like, oh, I love that. And I wish this was home, but I just didn't feel it. But they were just the most wonderful people ever. So I think it was a couple months later that I learned that there was an upstairs church.
Ah,
And that's where God was like, this is your home. This is where
Gotcha.
your people are. And what I loved about that church is they had such a heart for the students at the university.
mm-hmm.
And so that's where my home was for a long time.
Long time.
Yeah.
So
That's good.
you're thinking back to the old days. So again, then
Mhm.
you get married, you find a husband along that road.
I do. It's quite a fun story. I was telling you a little bit about this before. I'm sure Tyler spoke about this too. So my best friend, Erin, she is such a fabulous worship leader. She's also gorgeous. So the flocks of boys would come into the church just to see her, and then they would realize she was single and wanted to stay that way, and so they would leave. And then enter Tyler, who of course came for Erin, and good for him. I get it. And I remember I was painting on stage because, again, God says, go do something. Apparently that's what I did. He said, go, I want you to go up on stage and paint what the sermon tells you. And so I did that for a number of years of like being vulnerable and yet brave enough in God to be like, okay. And I did that. And then we had a bunch of friends, and Tyler slowly started joining that group. And Lord bless my friends. They're like, he's Dutch. I'm like, okay, I'm good.
I'm good.
So
Aw.
right before this, I had a bit of a traumatic moment in my life where I was severely depressed.
Mm.
Something went down, and basically I was sleeping 20 hours a day.
Yeah,
It was bad.
that's not good.
Yeah, this is my second year in university. First year of university, I learned my brain is not equipped for this.
Mm.
And I was doing like not just the visual arts, I was thriving. It was all the other courses that
You had to take.
I was not thriving in.
Mm.
Like in high school, I was thriving, and I graduated with like on all the honor rolls and everything like that because I'm social enough to ask the teachers, what can I do to
Right.
get the grades?
Right.
If I needed 100%, I would make sure I got it.
Yep.
I couldn't do that at university.
Right.
That's not how it worked. And so I couldn't pass. I was either getting D's or straight up failing. And then because of the things that went down in university, I ended up not wanting to go to my visual arts classes either.
Mm.
So I remember after this had gone down, I wrote a letter to God and be like, I am done with guys. I'm going to make this so unbelievably hard for you. I'm going to write, I think it ended up being a 2-page letter of, this is what I want in a husband. I am not going to date a single person until all of these are filled.
Was Dutch on there?
It was.
Oh,
So much
there you
so
go.
that I wanted a country guy who loved musicals. Like, I made this thing complicated as much as it could be. Because I was just done with guys. I just wanted me and God. And I know that's typically how that works. As soon as you're like, nope, me and you, God, that's it. God's like, okay, and now you're ready to meet people. But yeah, with Tyler, my friends kept pushing. And you know when friends are like nudging, like, you should think about this guy. And then girl brain is just like, well, now this is all I can think about. However, I'm also extremely stubborn. So I said no every time he asked me out. Like, I made him work, Lord help and Lord bless him, because he put in the effort. But what came out of it was the most amazing friendship and courtship, because I had never been treated well by a man.
Okay.
Ever. And I remember the very first time, it wasn't just like becoming friends, it was becoming more, was when we met in October, and in late November, early December, I had a house to myself, which also doesn't help with depression. Have roommates, especially in university, because I had no accountability. I heard something outside, and it was Tyler shoveling my driveway. He didn't knock on my door, didn't tell me about it, just shoveled my driveway and went back to his place. I'm like, okay.
Acts of service.
There's that man's acts of service. That is his love language through and through. But what we started doing is like back on MSN. We would talk nonstop there. And then we would never hold hands. We would never kiss. We wouldn't do anything, but we would go for walks, like from my house all the way down to the river, get like our snow pants on and everything. And so we just, for like 4 months, built a friendship where we could talk about everything and anything.
Right.
And there was like transparency about like what I wanted in a relationship. And we knew if anything was going to happen, it would never be dating for dating's sake. It would be dating for marriage.
Right.
But at this time, I was still saying no every single time he asked me out. And so I remember we were all meeting at my house. So the small group with all the teenagers and students from university, my house was like the spot.
Yeah, there's nobody else living there.
Exactly.
It's the hangout place.
It was amazing. I loved it. And then Tyler asks me to be on the porch in front of everyone. Like, Jess, can you come out on the porch with me? And so, of course, like, ooh. I'm like, oh, that's just... And then he asked me out again. And I remember thinking, okay. And he took it seriously. He told my best friend, like, this is where I'm taking her. You can tell her what she should wear. And so the night of the date, my girls got me ready, rang the doorbell. Lord bless, I love them. They jumped over the furniture so that they could get to the door before me. And you know when friends are like, they're into it too, which is wonderful. And we opened the door, and he was standing in like a 3-piece suit with flowers.
Wow.
So I remember telling him, like, I've never been on a good first date, and he made sure.
He showed up and was like, well, I'm going to fix that today.
Exactly. And I feel like he did that with so many things in my life of like, you've had a bad experience, but let's fix this. And so we did that for probably a month, and then he kept asking if I wanted to be his girlfriend, and I kept saying no. Right. And he asked me one night, and God's like, you're going to do it. And of course, me still needing to be stubborn and still be in control. It's just like, I'll rock, paper, scissors you for it. And God's like, you're going to lose.
Who are you rock? Yeah.
Him, Tyler. Oh. I was going to rock, paper, scissors Tyler if we became boyfriend and girlfriend. I took this seriously.
Hilarious.
I know. It's the most ridiculous thing.
I actually don't mind
thing.
That's a, hey.
It's the most ridiculous
You're going to lose,
thing.
which is actually the best thing. God's like, you can do that, but that means you have to actually lose in front of him now. Exactly.
So it's just the illusion of control of like, finally surrender to this. But so anyways, I end up losing. And
but actually winning, right?
Absolutely. But that's when life really took a turn, because I got kicked out of university the next day, and Tyler had no idea that I was not going to school. In fact, I was straight lying to him. He would ask me how was school. I'd be like, it was great. So he had no idea that I was in such a depression the whole time. No one did.
You were hiding.
All. Absolutely. And I'm so we now know I have autism and ADHD and all the other fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things about autism is you are very good at masking.
Right.
And so I knew, and like it's a survival mechanism, right? You have to learn how to mask. And so no one knew, and Tyler definitely didn't know.
Right.
And so I got the letter saying, you're kicked out.
Wow.
What are you going to do? Well, I can't tell anybody. And so I don't know how this played out so fast. But it reminds me of the whole university thing with the visual arts and the counselor, because it all happened so fast. And yet I see God's hand all over it, which is tremendously wonderful to me. I convinced myself if I moved out to Alberta that there was money out there and I needed a year off.
Oh.
And Tyler, being Dutch, has family everywhere. So he's like, I got family in Alberta. You can go live with them. And I'm like, okay. So on my 20th birthday, and after 6 months of being with Tyler, I'm being like,
you moved to Alberta?
I moved to Alberta by myself.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It was probably one of the most heartbreaking days is saying bye to Tyler. I think I've seen him cry 3 times in my life, and that was one of them. Because we easily could have been that 6-month couple.
Mm. So how long were you in Alberta for?
I was in Alberta for 6 months, and it turns out I hate the winter.
You figured out Alberta is not.
Oh, it's not a place for me. No. Oh.
So what brought you back to Windsor?
Tyler.
Ah.
But the most beautiful relationship between me and God came out of that, because it was literally him and me. There was no one else. Like, yeah, I lived with Tyler's aunt and uncle for a week or two, but then I found myself in my own little place, and life happened. I mean, I was homeless for a week. There are so many amazing and terrible stories that came out of that. And yet I had never and have never been closer to God than during that time. Mm-hmm. There was a time toward the end where I was on 2 different buses to get to a job.
Right.
So I had like 3 hours in my Bible every day.
Wow.
I hate, Lord help my words here. I say the Bible is really a hard place for dyslexic people and people with hard memories and everything. So I've always had a really hard time reading my Bible. And yet God knew, okay, well, this is your chance.
Here's a great opportunity. You've got all the time in the world.
Really?
You're sitting on a bus doing nothing, so.
Yeah, here's your chance. You're going to start journaling. You're going to start reading the Bible. And truly, I have never been that close because it's literally just him and me, no one else.
Right.
Like, I didn't have a lot of friends out there. It was just us. And I
were you and Tyler still together at this point?
We did long distance.
Okay.
He bought us little web cameras and things like that. It was so sweet. But it was hard. Yeah. Because it was also during that time that God's like, you got to tell him everything. You got to tell everyone everything. And so there was a lot of maturity that had to come out of that.
Right.
So I knew full well there was a very strong chance he was going to break up with me.
Right, because now you're being honest and telling him all these things.
I had been lying to him right from the get-go, and not even a small lie. It was a pivotal one, right? And it's like he understood and forgave me, and I said, I still want this. I still want to be in this. Like my family and I kind of alluded to this, we're not a super healthy family. We're getting there now, which is a massive praise God. But it's not the kind of family dynamic that is healthy.
Right.
It's not. So there was a lot of distance put on by that, but that's gone now, which is a massive praise God. And then come wintertime, Ty's like, can we be done with this?
He's like, you can come back now?
He came to Alberta and got me.
Oh.
Yeah. So I came back for Thanksgiving, realized that like, yep, we're still super strong because that whole meeting after long distance, you never know if it's still going to be there or not.
Right.
Because at this point, I'm 20, he's 21. We're still babies and things can change. But yeah.
So he came and
He
got you.
came and got me, and I quit my job, and I came back home. But
What year was that?
I was still 20, so
2008.
08. 08, yeah. But here's the fun one. In order for me to come back, I got to live with his parents because I didn't have another place to live with.
Oh.
I didn't have another home. I couldn't live with my family. And I have never met Christians that actually act like Jesus in the sense of like Christ's love, like acceptance under everything. It blew me away. So I lived for 3 months with Tyler's mom, dad, and youngest brother.
Oh, okay.
While he was still at
school.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And I saw Tyler on the weekend, and what I really appreciate is that the University of Windsor is so good with accepting, like having second chances.
Oh, yeah, to get
and
back.
And so they were like, yeah, come back. I want you to. But what I really appreciate more so than anything is that you have to go see a student counselor.
Right.
And within the first 5 minutes, he's like, oh, what's your learning disability? And I'm like, what do you know that I don't know?
Right.
I got so excited. And then I got blessed because they're like, you have dyslexia. They didn't know about any of the other things because I had masked them so well, and now we know. But finding out that I have dyslexia was probably one of the best days of my life. I remember going back because I'm back with all my friends and everything, and I'm like, I have dyslexia, and they're like, congratulations. Like, you don't understand. I didn't become a teacher because of this. Like, I gave up on all of my dreams because I was convinced something was wrong with me.
Right.
And
now
I
you actually have an answer.
that answer.
Right. That's, as you've been chatting just through that story, it's interesting. Like with the revelations, the struggles, the adversity, but as you worked through so much of it, the different nuggets you were able to draw out.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
And so when I'm just thinking about it, it's like, okay, so there's a lot of people in the world today who struggle with anxiety, who struggle with different things, don't always know, like autism is a spectrum. There's so much going on with it in the world today.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're like, I don't understand why I have this inability or struggle. What would you give the advice to any of those people out there? Like if you're looking at a young woman like yourself that you could talk to and say, hey, here's some of the, if you think there's something, here's what I would recommend.
I think I'm still learning that, in all honesty, because we're learning that all 3 of our kids have it. Right. And I feel like we're still not succeeding. We're not thriving. We're not surviving. We're finally coming out of that. But I think friends is 100% the hardest but most essential part.
Having friends.
Having friends and family that understand you as you and can celebrate you and your victories. And that's hard. It's really hard because in this world, you're kind of taught to fake it a lot. Like you're too much. You're too sensitive. You're too much. Or you mess up so much. Yeah. Find your club, find your people, find activities. The most amazing thing about this world is that we share commonality with so many people. We just actually need to follow through on what we like and then find the people that also like that.
Yeah, find your niche groups. There's always a lot of people in the world. What I've learned within myself is you don't know who else is like you because you don't actually ever articulate who you are.
Right. And that's hard.
Yeah. And if you really want to find people, one of the things that you have to do is actually tell people.
That's probably the hardest one.
Right.
Because when it comes to autism, you're so used to rejection that it takes a lot of bravery and, in my opinion, a lot of Jesus to be bold and say, I like this. I like this about me. And I want to find more people who would also like that about me and who might like that about themselves as well.
Right. Yeah. Just keep building on it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to leave a piece of advice with the people, or if you were looking at it, like just from your own experiences, like what would you want to leave with them? It can be a life story. It can be something the Lord's taught you. Self-forgiveness
is a big one.
Okay.
It's a big one. Like, especially if you have any struggle in this world, whether it's a neurodivergence brain or you've messed up. Apologies are important. Relationships are important. But I think what is really important is boundaries. Whether it comes to family or friends, don't accept don't accept belittling because you are, and the Lord says this to me all the time, and I repeat it to you guys of like, you are the children of the Most High King.
Mm-hmm.
You are the beloved child of God, whether you're a son or a daughter. You're supposed to be treated like a prince or a princess.
Amen.
Is that something that, is that how they should be treated? Would you treat the daughter of the Most High King this way? No? Well, then don't accept it for yourself.
Right.
You will, especially when it comes to autism and ADHD, you will know immediately if you jive with people or not.
Right.
And if you don't see that as a form of rejection. Just see it as you don't. These aren't your people.
Yeah.
And that's okay. But I think it takes a lot of life to realize that. And I pray for our younger viewers that they don't need to go through the hardships to learn that, because I think it's like autism, 90% of our life experiences are negative, and that's how we learn how to be socially appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a lot of hard.
Yes.
And if you can find your people that can help you kind of teach you, but in a way with love and truth through that,
right,
that will help you.
Finding the right support.
Yeah, is a big one.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Jess, so much for being on today. This has been another Real Stories episodes. If you haven't caught up with us, we're on YouTube. You can subscribe, watch us. We're here in studio, or you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify.